the Last Supper. We are going to light a candle to remember that Jesus is the light of the world. You can't see it, but it's right here. And we are going to read from the Gospel of Mark. Jesus in my mind, Jesus in my mouth, Jesus in my heart. Glory to you, O Lord. On the third day of the festival of unleavened bread, the day the lambs for the Passover meal were killed, Jesus' disciples asked him. We have Jesus here. And his disciples came and asked him, "Where do you want us to go and get the Passover meal ready for you?" Then Jesus sent two of them with these instructions. "Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house he enters and says to the owners of the house, 'The teacher says, where is the room where my disciples and I will eat the Passover meal?' Then he will show you a large upstairs room, fixed up and furnished, where you will get everything ready for us." The disciples left. And when they went into the city, they found everything just as Jesus has told them. And they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, Jesus came with the 12 disciples. While they While they were at the table eating, Jesus said, "I'll tell you that one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." The disciples were upset and began to ask him, one after the other, "Surely you don't mean me, do you?" Jesus answered, "It will be the one of the 12, one who dips his bread in the dish with me. The Son of the Man will die, as the scriptures say he will. But how terrible for that man who will betray the Son of Man. I would have been better for that man if he had not been born." While they were eating, Jesus took a piece of bread, gave a prayer of thanks, broke it. We have the bread here. While they were eating, Jesus took a piece of bread, said a prayer of thanks, broke it, and gave it to his disciples. "Take it," he said. "This is my body." Then he took a cup, gave thanks to God, and handed it to them, and they all drank from it. Jesus said, "This is my blood, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. And this is the new covenant." Then they sang a hymn and went out to the Mount of Olives. We have been working and talking about this. We know that the Passover dinner was a dinner that has been celebrated by the Jews for many, 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 many years. This is a celebration, a ritual, a very special religious meal that families gather every year at Passover and eat. It's like Americans in Thanksgiving. All my American friends that live in other parts of the world still today get together and celebrate Thanksgiving, even if they don't live in the United States. This is a Jewish tradition that today the Jewish people gather. It was last week, Sunday, I believe. And they gather and they read the exact same prayers that they have read for 2,000 years. So I wonder how the disciples felt when they heard these new words. The Passover remembered a covenant that God had made with them. And Jesus said, "This is a new covenant." In very different words that they have never heard before. "This bread is my body, and this wine is my blood, which will be poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." I wonder what the disciples thought. I bet they didn't understand much. But then they finished dinner and they went out to the Mount of Olives. And there Jesus was captured, made prisoner. And half of you went to the Stations of the Cross. So you know how hard it was when Jesus was the beginning of the stations where he was made carry his cross all the way up to the Mount of Calvary. And the 14 important things that happened in that road. And if you didn't go, you have a Stations of the Cross in your Lent bag. I invite you to spend some time and work on that this Holy Thursday. And then Jesus died on the cross. But we know that that is not the end of the story. We know that 3 days later, Jesus came back to life. What can we tell God? And what can we tell Jesus after this beautiful reading of the Last Supper? It is the Last Supper what we celebrate in Mass. We gather around the table of Jesus. And I'm going to do something I never do, but I'm going to make a close-up with the camera.